General Jan Dodonna getting added to the collection here via a 2004 Star Wars action figure. We're going to open this one up, check him out. Classic Star Wars character from the first movie. We'll see how accurate it is to his appearance in the film. I like getting some of these older figures for lower price if I can manage to find it. Sneak him into my collection of figures for Star Wars. He loved talking about Princess Leia.
Princess Leia?
But we never got to see her in the movie. Only Princess Leia. We never get to see Leia. Hey, how you doing? I'm Princess Leia over here. So we got a nice new one on the card we can check out. Freshly opened up. Let's see what we got here. Even though he's just kind of a general dude in a scene, he's got his rebel kind of blaster. That's a nice bonus. It's kind of a set that would come with a stand for the figures, little peg for the feet. Just says Star Wars. So you kind of use this with any figure, most likely if you had trouble standing them up. And we'll check out the general here himself. Huh? He's got like swivel arm instead of like a joint. Up and down. Head turns. The likeness maybe a tiny bit cartoony than realistic. I think the real dude had like a longer head. This one's a little squished. He needs like more forehead or a longer beard. But not too bad because he's got his long coat. Although he does take that off when the battle really starts and he's got just kind of his jacket. Doesn't have the long coat, so I wanted to take a peek under here and see. Oh man, a little disappointing. I was hoping his Purina logo was on there. It's like the general insignia for like a rebel general. Looks like just like a pack of red pills, but it kind of is like the design of the Purina logo. So that detail is omitted underneath, but he has like his belt and stuff that is visible sometimes, just up and down with the legs. A little weird with the articulation as far as like his weird gestures here with his hands. You kind of have to kind of poke the finger through that little trigger kind of hole for him to be holding the blaster any kind of way. They do have swivel on the hands, so he can kind of hold that a little bit if you gotta have him be like, sometimes you gotta pop a cap in a troop, playa. He just looks kind of weird holding his gun, but at least they threw in a weapon if you were just gonna mess around with these as like combat and stuff. But he's just kind of the general. He doesn't need to be pulling out his blaster. His real accessory is the medals that they handed out at the end of the movie. So he can kind of hand these to Princess Leia. Be like, here, you give this to him. I don't want to do it. Everybody wants to be given the medal from Leia, not from friggin' old man Dodonna. But crazily enough, he comes with 3 medals, even though they just give them out to Luke and Han. So even back then, he came with the 3, kind of accepting that they were going to award Chewbacca maybe during one of the cutaways to the droids or something. Maybe he kind of waved off that he wasn't going to accept an award just because he was kind of fulfilling his life debt to Han. Wasn't going to take something like this, possibly. You could imagine, instead of just the reason being they just didn't give him one. But he gets one in Rise of Skywalker, so there's a reason to watch that movie, I guess, if you're really that upset about it. Of course, with these, I'm sure they'll fit on a Han and Luke figure just fine, but finding a Chewbacca figure with a neck, or at least a small enough head to get one around, if you kind of warmed him up, stretched, but I think you probably have a hard time even getting one on Chewbacca if you wanted to play that game. But you could also just give 2 to Han and Luke and give 1 to maybe a Princess Leia figure to be holding. Or you could have the old general holding the awards to hand to Leia to put on the heroes. He's just the guy that pulled it out of the box. That's my job. I also sometimes mispronounce people's names because I forget. So yes, a little detailed hair, probably not quite the correct head proportions or beard, and it is missing the general logo inside the coat, but the coat kind of generally closes on its own. He'll be just a nice addition to my Star Wars collection of that first movie. You might know it as A New Hope. I'll be opening other Star Wars figures from this time and maybe older ones as well, and some of the vintage collections that just does represent these old movies. And in general, I like to open retro action figure stuff of the older times, or maybe newer figures about older movies and shows and things. So if you get subscribed, maybe the general will hand someone else this award to put around your neck. Here you go. I'll put it on your neck. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Oh, ah, oh.